Hey everyone, welcome back to Rolling Across the Pond. We are doing the wrap-up tea break that I know is for Animal Kingdom, and you know, listeners, that is for Animal Kingdom because we put it in the title. I remember this, and I don't know why I recapped those names, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I'm a creature of habit. I said it again. Sue me. I'm your GM Jesse, by the way. Actually, I'm not GM today. We're not playing today. We are hanging out. We're going to talk about Animal Kingdom. I have the core three, including me, core four that were a part of it. We don't have Sam today, and we don't have the special guests that have joined us, which is a bit of a bummer. But we wanted to get this done, and we saw that we released the last episode, so here it is. And we'll hopefully, maybe talk to them at some point in the future. Who knows? Until then, like I said, I'm Jesse, and I'm with Lee, Luke, and Davita. Say hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hi everyone.
Dang it, you stole my joke. I was gonna do
Sorry,
that.
sorry. Go. You can say it Canadian
No,
though.
it's
Go for
okay.
it. Follow it
No,
with A. I
no,
don't
I'm,
know.
I'm too Canadian to steal a
I'm
joke.
too Canadian. I'm too polite. That's it. I'm just brutal because I'm British.
So, to keep us on a little bit of a track, we are going to talk about probably the last 10 episodes, 13 episodes, I think it is, of I guess, the last arc where Davida and Luke's characters, Hava and Reader, end up at the camp, and Goro and Mike's character, Jackson, end up trying to find them and going towards the Baylock Kingdom. Now, we're not going to do it in detail right now. We're going to kind of just do an overview of the recap of the 10 episodes or 13 episodes. There's a lot of things we could probably ask. We'll throw a few things here and there out that are specific. Obviously, we don't want to miss anything. But yeah, let me pull out the questions. Or does anybody have a question that they're ready?
I just want to say that I'm so happy to be here, and I miss this group. And like this is the four core, the core four, and I'm just very happy, and I just can't stop smiling. So,
It is pretty funny. Like it is like the core four, and it has like just before we were recording, Jess has said like this has been going on for like 4 years. That's insane. That
Hmm.
is literally insane if you
Yeah,
think about it. Like I
yeah.
can't wrap my head around that. That's mad.
yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
we could
insane
have
in
gone for
memory.
another four, but you got a job.
Well, I now have more. I now have more free time to do this now. Though.
Oh, okay. Well,
Just
there we go.
saying is all.
Just saying.
Just
And
saying.
it's been about 2 years since we finished.
Yeah,
Our
No,
it's
we
finale.
finished last year.
yeah.
Was
Finished.
it?
I think we
We did
finished last
finish
year. It's
last
just been
year.
a
Okay.
long process.
Last
Feel
year.
About a
like it's
year
been
since we
mega.
finished the finale. So
We took like a 6 month break,
a six
but
month break.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 That's right. Yeah,
It's
it almost felt like 2 years, but yeah, no, there was
Yeah.
really
yeah,
big
it did. No,
gaps.
it did. Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
quote Jurassic Park. Life finds a way to mess everything up, so he had to take 6 months and
Yes.
finish it, and it was sick. It was really cool. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of reminiscent
That's
seeing all these lovely people in front of me on this camera.
Yeah,
It's great.
that's kind of why the just listeners, that's why the last episode is so long because it's actually three episodes meshed into one. Different reasons why, but yeah, that was like, okay, we have Lee for this short amount of time. Let's utilize
Yeah,
it. And
Yeah, and that's also why we stopped doing tea breaks for so long. And what was it,
yeah,
yeah,
like 15 or 16 episodes we don't have tea break for
yeah,
because
yeah.
it was
exactly.
hard enough to find times to actually just record the regular episodes that were like
Mm,
we have
Yeah,
no time to do
and
tea breaks.
Sam was going through a lot, so
yeah,
And yeah, and Lee's work kept on getting in the way, so it's just
yeah.
like it
It's
it is what it was,
it's
or it
life,
was what it is.
it
You know
is.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
But
100%.
and we just weren't able to do it, but I'm glad that we're able to do one final tea break just to talk about everything because there was a lot that
100%.
happened in those last
A
episodes.
lot.
Yeah,
A
yeah,
lot, yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, so let's get into it. I would like to start. Well, I guess I what I want to start and kind of finish with after we kind of reminisce, because I know a lot of people start with like they want to talk about their favorite moments and their least favorite moments, but I think it's good to like start that way and then as we remember things at the end also end that way. Like, and to see, like, actually, you know what? That reminded me of this, and actually, that's my favorite one. Or so, what was a favorite moment of your character, of the campaign, of another person's character that you can think of right now? And then we'll do it again at the end.
Okay. Uh, I'll go first. I've got one. Hava like trying to kill Gora by teleporting him like with an undead dragon. That was really
That
cool.
was one of your favorites? I put
Yeah,
that
because
as
I
one of
was
my
like,
least
that was like
favorites.
it was like a nightmare moment because I was like, oh, like I'm gonna die here. This is not ideal. Run, run. It was basically reenacting Jurassic Park. Just try
That
and
was
stay
like
alive.
my
So
biggest, one of my biggest regrets, not the most biggest regret, unfortunately, but I'm kidding.
no, that was probably one of my favorite moments because it was just kind of like, oh yeah, just use a marble. What's the worst thing that can? Oh no, that just took a horrible U-turn. Like, great, but I think that's like storytelling in D&D in total. Like, you think everything's under control, and then side quest, like, it's just great. It's
Mm-hmm.
awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. That was one of my faves.
Nice.
I was listening to the episodes. I was trying. Okay, a lot of times, like me and I share a room, and sometimes we go to bed at different times. But I was listening to it. We'd been talking, and I was like, "Okay, go to sleep. I'm gonna listen to this a little bit more because I wanted to listen to everything before our recording today, so that I fresh in my mind." And of course, I press play, and it's the most one of the most epic moments I feel like in the whole show. I mean, the whole season or whatever. Hava throwing the fireball in the pyramid.
Oh
And I just start
yes,
cracking
that's
up and I'm
so
like, I'm
good.
sorry. I know you're trying to sleep, but I couldn't even like hold my own laughing because I was like, this was so epic that like
It's
Yep.
such a good part.
that was
Yeah.
definitely one of my favorite moments because it was just so like epic and
Yeah,
like
it's good.
the just wild crazy chance which I'm gonna have to ask Jesse about, but I don't know if you want to talk about it now. We'll talk about it later. But just like the crazy circumstance that the exact marble that I threw just so happened to be Silas's brother and stuff, and I have a feeling there was some sneakiness behind that, but you know.
No, no, I can talk about that now. That's fine. No, actually, there wasn't. I That was total coincidence.
Yep.
But that was, yeah, that, like, because at the beginning of the campaign, I made that mouse, the evil mouse, and I knew it
Yeah.
needed a counterpart, and I knew that someone needed to created those marbles, and then that I I was like, let's put them in a marble. And so I put him in there, and whenever
No
you were
way.
to roll him and release him, would have been there were certain things in this campaign that, like killing the king,
Right.
would
Yep.
ramp things up
That was also one
to
of
the
the very
next
first.
level. Like
Yeah.
the casualness of, like, oh, I'm just gonna go kill the king. I was like, the campaign's ending in like 3 weeks.
Yep.
Like, I don't know what
So you
I
had to add an additional bad guy, right? Like that was an initial part of the plan, the whole John the
no,
Mouse
I
thing.
mean, no,
John the Mouse.
that mouse, that John was always the evil controller of the
Really?
circumstances.
Okay. I thought you kind of came up with that as a backup plan after we destroyed your big baddie king.
No, when
There's always a
especially
Thanos behind
no,
a Thanos.
exactly. There was, see, the I even told Luke I have these this that's how we came up with his character,
Right, because of
which
that
which
particular.
initially
Yeah.
started, he was like a god. Luke made a god character, and I was
I
like, oh, I meant for the others to be gods and for you to be less than them. And and so we agreed on Silas. But yeah, you did start off with a huge, like, all powerful, or not powerful, but like a being that was quite elaborate, of like
no, I actually have a
resurrections and
picture
stuff.
of
Oh,
his
do you?
original pitch.
There we
Do
go.
you?
It's mouse urchin. It's two or more mice who are each other's familiar with the urchin background and or wizard class.
That's
Like
cool.
a Fred and George
Oh,
dynamic.
I do
This could
not
also be
remember
three
that
mice in
at
a trench
all.
coat thing if you don't want it. You don't want to like try to play it up.
Oh, that's so
So
funny. I did not
that's how it
remember that.
started.
I
Mhm.
I did not. Yeah.
And then you tried to describe like these all powerful, what I don't want to say eldritch, but then I was like, all right, I'll try to
Nope.
play
I
with
mean,
that.
yeah,
And so I
yeah.
just diva, and then
So right from the get-go, there was a good mouse and a bad mouse. And yeah, it just so happened that you threw him at that moment.
Well, okay, that was awesome, and that was definitely one of my favorite parts because I was just like, what? My mind was blown, and that was amazing. So
Yeah, it was very funny.
there was a few mind blown sections too,
Yeah.
discovering stuff and everything. But that one was very epic.
What about you, Luke?
I don't know. I tried to have these prepared beforehand, but that was one that it was hard for me to decide what my favorite was, not because I couldn't think of anything, but like just the entirety of who Ahava and Goro are, pretty much. Like,
Yeah.
and then also their interactions with each other of being like a monk and a barbarian, but still like very on different sides of violence.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very funny.
it's very
Is
Yeah.
it
good.
not
Yeah, I
common for
love.
monks and barbarians to like get together or
Well,
come
it's not
together?
common for barbarians to necessarily create friends.
I do love the fact that we have the funniest thing. Like, if we're going to bring up another moment, like the one funny thing was like, okay, so at some point, like Hava or he's just going to lose it, and she lost it by skinning the hand of the king quite dramatically early on.
Yeah.
And I immediately, like after recording it, I just kind of was like, wow, that was very Game of Thrones, wasn't it? That was pretty dark. That was the only more graphic nature is going to come up now. And
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I think you might have topped it, but probably that was the funniest thing. Like going from like, oh, I just want to adventure to like, let's skin it alive. Like, it's just okay. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
barbarian, and you're angry. Okay.
I think for me, it was like, well, for a while, as a GM slash watching your creation come to life in your own head and seeing how you guys play with the world and stuff like that. I really like my favorite parts were those parts where I said nothing and let you guys just role play, and I'm just like, oh, this is beautiful. Like this is what I want. Play in the sandbox, destroy my world, do it. I don't care. I'm loving watching this happen.
like me and Ariana's just conversation and Luke and like we're all like chat talking
Yeah.
and like I think you were quiet for like what, like 20-30 minutes, something like
Yeah,
that.
I
So
was.
we were just
And
talking.
I probably even cut out a lot of it to where I was just quiet listening. I'm just like, yeah, this is nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's probably a cool moment as a GM where you're like, I mean, I just started GMing something, so it's been it's difficult to do a GMing position, but it is fun when you found out that your characters have really found their niche, or they've owned up to their character. They're really just into it so much that you kind of don't have to do or say anything at that point. So yeah.
Yeah, I think as you said that, like another one of my favorite parts or moments was, I don't know if it was Reader, I don't know if it was Luke, but the firm stance of I am not allowed to say anything to Hava about anything, and you held so strong to that.
Yeah. You were asking
Yeah.
that beforehand of why not, and it's for that reason.
It was
Yeah.
so funny.
Wait, I don't get it though. Why?
I the reader was told he was not allowed to by Caesar.
By Caesar to say anything
But
about
then
Hava? Like finding
But
her?
then
Oh.
Caesar did say it was fine multiple times, and you
Oh.
still held on to no, I'm not saying a
That's
word.
why. Okay, see, I didn't realize this, and the whole time I'm just like, why is Reader not saying anything to Hava? Even though Davida is very clearly making it a
Yeah,
point that she wants to have Reader say something.
and it felt very out of character for just my own personality to be like, I so just want to just say, but it feels wrong for reader to just be like, oh yeah, well I was there.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. See, this is what I was hoping from this tea break, to get some more insight. I'm like, why were things happening that actually happened?
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, it was very,
All
very
right.
cool.
I think now we go to the low moments. What's a low moment that you found during this campaign?
Power would kill.
What? Power would kill.
Our World. Yeah, why did you keep mentioning it, Luke? Okay, so he mentioned it a couple of times while we were in the Redwater territory, like just offhand, like random, like top of the head, just like, oh no, he says like power word kill, just to have us like maybe 6 months later, and Jesse uses it. Like, I know he didn't like. I don't think it was like Luke actually trying to like, but it somehow like subconsciously implanted into Jesse's head that he really wanted
No,
to
it,
use that
No,
spell.
not
I wouldn't blame
100%.
subconsciously.
Luke.
I've said out loud before to Jesse that he should not use it. And the moments that I say
It's
those kinds
true.
of things, it's because it would be the dumbest thing to do.
Mm.
Mm.
And then he does it, and it was the dumbest thing to do. Like,
Yeah.
Well, it in reality, in defense
In
of
defense.
myself, I did not remember what I said episode one of Power Kill Doesn't Exist.
Oh, that's yeah.
And then at the same time, I've explained this to you guys in more detail, but I watched this show where they took criminals, and if these criminals didn't get have any answers, they just kill them. Just if they're not going to join, then there's no reason for them to exist. I have control of your father. Goodbye. Like, so long. And I think that was it. And then I was trying to be evil. I'm not very good at being evil as a person. So I think I'm listeners, you don't know this, but like there is a campaign where I felt more evil than I ever have. And I didn't like it, but I was like, okay, get in that same mental state, get in that same energy. And I think I went too far. I agree. I went too far with the power word kill. I think, yeah, I think that's it, really. I have no other defense other than, yeah, it was a mistake. Did it pay off in the end? I think story-wise, I created it to pay off while editing. But if you listeners actually listen to the raw copy, it didn't go well.
Yeah, if you go to our Patreon, if you join us on our Patreon, you can go back and listen to the raw audio. You can hear me in my worst, like snotty, teary, just like trying to cope with that. Like that got cut out, but
Oh,
it was
and you did
intense.
not have a good day that day
And
either.
I
Like,
wasn't having a good day.
I think you
Like
start with that too.
there
Where
was
like
a
I
yeah,
wasn't
there
having
I did.
today
well, and
wasn't very
it
well, but
wasn't just
we'll
not
play
a good
this.
day. There, I mean,
No, it was a really,
I'll
yeah.
reveal it to the audience just because like it there was a loss in my family, and so like an aunt, and it was sudden, and so I was like, no, I still want to record, but like I didn't want to make a big deal of it because I was like I I still wanted to like be a part of that and stuff, and then when things happened, it's just like, oh wow, okay, yeah, and so I, just the bundled up emotions and losing a character that I had like been like, and so it happened so quickly in the edit, like,
Sure.
but there was, I think, like a couple, like there was at least a
You know,
like a
40
an
minutes.
40
40
minutes
minutes.
before I left the recording, and I started
I was being berated by
post
Luke.
aggressive or being uh messages, threatening messages to the group. If you don't bring
Yeah.
back Hava, I'm gonna blah
Not
blah blah
not to the group, to me.
to
To the
Jesse,
group,
to
through the group.
Jesse's
I don't know if there
directly.
was more beyond it, but she was sending it to like the group chat
I
that
was
she had.
sending it to the
Yeah,
group
yeah,
chat,
yeah.
yes.
Oh yeah.
And then not till like another week or two to actually finish that,
Yes. Yeah.
or
Yeah.
come back, from that and do the
Mhm.
whole like, yeah, it was crazy.
Ending. The proper
Yeah,
ending.
the
Mhm.
proper ending. And I have no lingering like anger at Jesse for this. This was, you
And I am
know,
full of apologies always. So
and he has been forgiven, and now it's just a fun story to tell. But
yes.
yeah, the emotions were real for that
Yeah,
for
no,
sure.
yeah, they were. I do find that all, not to be like, oh yeah, it was a payoff, but like that, to know how much you were invested in Hava was meaningful to me, in that like Like, because you've said before in other tea breaks that you were like half-heartedly in them, and like some of the camp in the short campaigns we've done, and it's like to see that was really impactful for me, just to know that like wow, you did invest a lot in this character. That was yeah.
But wasn't it also like your first ever D&D character though as well?
Oh yeah,
So there you go.
yeah.
So it
My
has a
first
little bit
character.
of yeah, deep roots there. I remember that whole thing going down and just going like, what the flump is going down in
Right.
Chinatown?
Lee was not there. He could
No.
see my aggressive like messages.
It was the messages more than anything, and I just was kind of like, you can bleep this if you want, Jess, but I was like, shit, what the heck has gone on? Everyone is murdering each other in the chat right now. What the heck? Like,
I know. I
oh
messaged Lee
my
afterwards and
gosh.
I was like, I just explained what happened because I was like, I felt bad. I was like, I know I'm putting this in the public chat right now,
I
but I
loved
was
it. I
like,
was just kind of like, yeah, I'll
or
be a little bit peeved. Yeah.
our podcast chat.
I took it very it was like a meta version of Hava going to Goro being like, he hurt me. You
Yeah.
like because Lee did message me saying, hey, what, like not even message, he texted me the next day or something like that. It's like, hey, what happened? And I was like, oh, here comes the older brother coming at you.
Like it was mad because it was just kind of crazy. Like I'm not gonna lie, like it was funny hearing like Davita just like because I've only met her through this, so then like seeing like a different side to her, I was just kind of like, okay, I know women are very dangerous when they're upset, but my gosh, this is a fictional character as well, and it's getting man, the fangs are out and all this other stuff. I was like, holy cow, I don't know what's gone on. I was like, holy shnikes. And then when it all unraveled, I was like, oh yeah, I'll be peeved. But like, wow, okay, yeah, sure. Yeah, that makes sense. And then like all the other things, like first character, all the things, I was just like, yeah, this is kind of fun. And things that will never ever be like unseen were seen. It was hilarious. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, it was great. But we're all friends. We're still friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it's fun.
Luke is a bit bitter. I mean, not just because of that, probably, but because of also how he came into that episode ready to just die as well.
Mm,
Yeah, no, I was fine because I was, yeah, like I said, I like you said, I was expecting to die, but like Hava just to be like just taken out was so beyond me. Was it just that you had like a was it was that you just grabbed John from like a lich or something?
So I lost the original character sheet that I had for John, and I had to just find one, and it had everything that it had before, but it was like slightly different, and it
Yeah.
had that in there, and I was like, oh, easy.
easy.
Mhm.
Fun times. Fun times.
Yeah, it was. I will tell you, if listeners you listen to on our Patreon, like the background, you will hear me basically just zone out that whole landing. Like I was just like, I just got to keep this podcast on track. Just got to
Yeah.
just keep going. That's what I just need to just do. I don't put too much emotion to this. I just got to get through this episode. Now that
Yeah.
now that it's already gone, I just got to get through it.
Right. So, yeah, like even in the end, like it was fine, I think, and it's actually not my biggest regret in the show because I think it had a good outcome in the end after we,
Yeah.
pestered Jesse enough to change some stuff.
Whoa. I already agreed to it, and I apologize before I was confronted.
Right. Yes.
There was lawyers involved. There was this
Once
big court
Jesse decided
case.
he was willing to withdraw or come up with a solution to take back what he did, then like the outcome was fine. Like definitely wasn't my biggest, like I said, it wasn't my biggest regret. I have lots of regrets as Hava, but
Oh, interesting.
I want to hear like Lee's and Luke's more like their characters regrets, stuff that their characters could or should have done that didn't
Interesting.
do, because I have a lot and I will talk about them, but I want to hear you guys first.
You want to go first, Mr. Canada?
I was thinking I Reader was more of a guest. When at the very beginning, at least, he grew into one of the main
Hmm.
characters, then became. I think Hermit Chronicles is more of his like his main character show.
Yeah.
but he's more of like a side character in this. So I don't know. I feel like I don't know if there's anybody who would be thinking that like leaving with Chaser is regrettable, but I think that was yeah, I think that's one of the greatest, especially to Lee. Listening it back,
Heck
I keep
yeah.
talking about how
I
much
was
Lee loved this,
Yeah, I was literally, it didn't, I don't know if we were ever filmed on webcam, but I was like pushing like the whole fly off in a boat together, go make weird babies. That'd be hilarious. Like, let it happen, let it be. I was all on that
75%
team.
dog,
Yeah,
25%.
100%. I was on that bandwagon,
Mhm.
100%.
Yeah, no. I don't think it was a regret either. I think it was good because I was gonna kill off Reader that episode anyways. So
I'm just getting
Like,
bored. I
how
need
were
to
you going to
murder.
kill him off? Did you have a particular strategy or plan, Jesse? Or are you just
oh
saying
yeah.
this?
Oh, so
No,
these
I
deaths are
was I
premeditated.
this
Mate,
one was premeditated because it was made by King Elros. Oh yeah.
okay.
Really?
King Elros was
Okay.
gonna like
Why?
just cast silence on the like he had wizards basically wrote like on a path, and he was just gonna cast silence on the caravan and just start attacking Luke or attacking Reader
Why?
Why?
because you were attached to him, because he didn't like that you were attached to someone that wasn't a part of their alliance.
Wow, that would have changed the story dramatically.
So brutal. Like he was quietly murdered as well. As pretty dark and awesome,
I
to be
mean,
honest.
obviously, I wasn't gonna just outright take him out. I was gonna fight
An
him
assassination attempt
in
would
the
be sick.
quiet,
Yeah.
and so
But
he
I would have been
he
there.
escaped.
I would have been there.
Maybe
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been
he would have
freaking
pushed
mad.
really hard for you not to be in there
I think he's
and be with him.
didn't you say, Hava, that like you made a seat beside you for Reader to sit?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, but Elros only agreed to that when he knew Chaser was leaving with Reader.
No way.
Yeah, dude.
Dude, that is demented.
Yeah.
You're demented.
I rolled for it, and he was not happy about it.
Premeditated PC murder.
He was not. But again, it was like if Reader would have gotten away because he's fast. One disengage, and he would have been off. But at
Yeah.
least he would have been away from you, and that would have been fine too.
Wow, I'm glad we had the outcome we had instead of that.
Yeah.
Uh,
I did. Just to peek behind the curtain, I did have a conversation with Ariana beforehand about what she wanted to do
Uh-huh.
and if she wanted to bring Reader.
Yeah.
So she was already thinking about this before the episode started.
Okay.
Wait, did she know about the assassination
She
attempt?
didn't know about the assassination.
Oh, okay.
I just said, would she want to? And it was up to her if she did or not. She's welcome to invite you. And then it was up to you if you accepted or not. But I just wanted to make sure she had like basically covering both ends of this conversation of like King Elros wants him dead. Jesse wants to give him an out.
that's the best thing about being a DM. You're there to tell a story, not have evil agendas. Like you have two paths all the time. It's always down to the
Exactly.
players.
So I was like, I'm gonna give this to Ariana, let Chaser figure it out. And if she invites him, she invites him. But then in the end, she didn't even invite you. You were like, I would love to go with you. And I was like, perfect. Yes.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, that was all in the alternate timeline.
Yeah, one of those timelines. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Regrets for Goro. Well, it comes up a little bit later with the questions, but like his party body count is not great. Like it's pretty crap. Like one sucked. The other one, I was just warming up to the guy, and then immediately was like, just like, no, you killed him. That I think
Yeah.
like I think even though like Leaf was such a dramatic turning point for a character, like Uber just
Yeah.
gone like that in a heartbeat was pretty mad. Like that was like
Crazy.
just glanced over, and I was like, Shh, that just happened. Yeah,
The crazy thing is that like I was nice.
yeah,
I only gave 8 damage to people when
yeah.
actually Goro would have given I think like 17 or 18 or maybe even 20 damage from that
The worst
hit.
thing was it was just the fact that it was a nat one, and that's the worst thing.
Yeah.
So Uber didn't have very high. What was his health like when he was a
Uber
regular
didn't. Uber had 8.
He
health.
had 8 just as regular
Yes.
Uber.
Yep.
Wow. I didn't realize his regular, health was
Yeah.
just that low. So
Yeah.
when he like levels up, it's only his werebeaver stats that really go
Yes.
up.
Pretty much.
Huh.
Well, no, he didn't. He didn't. I don't think he
Or I don't know. He
leveled up,
levels.
but he
Oh,
was already a
yeah.
high level anyways.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
He
Mm.
was a what was it? A challenge rating
Or challenge rating.
5 or 6, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
He wasn't like 10 or 12, but he had a high challenge rating. But yeah, it was only when he was the werebeavers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Crazy.
kind of sad.
When
Yeah.
when I was doing it, I was like, oh no, oh no. How do I explain this without destroying Goro's like moral
I could have
compass at
literally
this
gone
rate?
bad shit crazy right there and then and just not gone anywhere else. Like literally just getting over Leaf,
Bang your
open
head
up a bit
against the
more.
wall until you do enough damage to kill your own
Yeah.
self or something.
Exactly.
And I didn't even know. I didn't even register. I think it was either Mike or Luke that say, and this is the exact same place Leaf died.
That was Mike, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, sugar it is, yeah.
that
Mate,
was.
I
was
just hate
like,
pyramids.
Oh, that's
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was crazy. I'm
Yeah.
just glad you didn't have Leaf be one of the zombies or maybe
Yeah.
or skeletons.
Well, I
or-
couldn't. No, I couldn't because the way it went was Caesar, Darren, and Leaf are on the outside because it smashed into Darren and Leaf and
Yep.
pushed them with the pyramid. Yeah.
They
It pushed
became-
them. Oh, I was thinking it landed on them, not pushed them and smashed.
No,
like, I
no,
thought-
no, push them.
It was the most like
It was like an
vaporized-
impaling.
Yeah, it was pretty brutal.
Oh, I see. See, I thought they were underneath the pyramid, not like pushed away.
No,
from the
no.
pyramid.
If they were underneath, it would have been easier. But no, they were pushed.
Would have been easier. They just come back as zombies and I would not do anything.
Exactly. I would have been fine. I would have been fine with them coming back as zombies.
Freak me out. Yeah.
Zombie
The one I
Uber.
was like, I shouldn't make him a zombie is Uber. I was like, it's too
Nah,
soon.
man. Like 2
No.
episodes before that, I was well happy that he had a jolly good time, and I was like, "Yeah, this is what it's going to be." But Reader's got his own like side missions, like Goro and Uber are going to have event. Nope, that was cut short on the writer's block immediately. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's fun.
Crazy.
So yeah, probably biggest regret those two. But we'll talk about the body count later because
Yes.
that's a question.
Any regrets that are not tied to specifically like bad dice rolls as opposed to bad choices?
Guys.
Not bad dice rolls.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything
Oh,
we've
not
mentioned-
bad dice rolls. Oh, like
Everything
a
we've
chance,
mentioned
not a
is
chance.
just nat one.
Like a decision.
You don't have to think about that because it's depressing. But
No, it's fine. It makes sense. I think
It's depressing.
I think for me, it was the not fully grasping of Silas. I feel like he had so much potential. I feel like it was so much more I missed out on of understanding his character and who he was and what he could do to the point where you kind of, I feel like, step back a little bit more with him than you even did with Reader. I don't know. I feel like that was a regret of mine of like, oh, I did not communicate things super clearly and I didn't read up as well as I should have.
Mhm.
I think that was a regret I should have addressed. And losing episode 27.
Ah,
Yeah.
I know. That's so sad that we lost that.
I
especially
know.
since that's one of the ones I didn't see in person, so I just
Oh
have to go on.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Hava did some more probably mediocre speeches and stuff like that.
No,
you
actually,
know,
it was really heartfelt, and it was like it was between everyone. You were saying, you know,
Yeah.
I missed you. It's great, and you guys were all
Oh,
getting
right.
bonded. But then all of a sudden, like Seven comes in, and he's like, "Hey, you need to do your job as royalty," and you're like,
Right.
"No," and then Goro's like, "Oh no, they're coming for us. I'm out." And
I'm
takes
out.
off running.
Yep, I'm out.
Right, I forgot he actually ran. He actually
Yeah,
started
he
running
He
away.
does, he
Yep.
does.
Yeah.
He
Like,
and then
I'm done.
I don't even
Avalon and
think
a
he
whole
said
bunch of
bye.
other
He just
wizards
was like-
just yeah, hold it. They do a hold person on him, bring him back. But yeah, it was a very like I thought. Oh, you know, Hava will be like oh, she'll be bored because she has to do all these royal duties. She'll just do it.
I wasn't doing them.
And then you were like, nope, I'm
I'm
gonna
not
ruin this episode.
No.
I'm gonna ruin this episode.
Yeah.
And no, you didn't ruin it, but
Amazing.
you did not go in the direction of like, oh, you know what, you're
Yeah.
right, I am royalty now. You're like, no, I'm still Hava, and I'm gonna be Hava.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
derail an episode. We'll get back on track, but I'll derail it a little bit.
It was fantastic. I mean, the amount of controversy you brought in the camp on day one, I was like, yeah, how am I gonna end this sooner rather than later? Not like I wanted to, but like
Right. Yeah.
we're on the last end of this and you're
Right.
creating chaos in camp.
Yeah.
It was great. It was great. It was fantastic. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it, but it was, yeah.
Okay. So you want me to talk about my regrets now?
Please.
I've got a long list. Okay, I'll start with the short ones. I really wish or regret. I feel like we really should have had Willie in there at some point. But
Yeah.
I understand with recording issues we weren't able to get Isaac in on that. But that one, not being able to use those little gem like communicator earpieces, I regret. I don't know if it was just bad rolls or like whatever it
Well,
was,
no,
but my
you would not have been able to
persuasion.
take it.
I could explain that Caesar like has his in his ear permanently based on things
Broke
based
it.
on yeah
He broke
based
it in
on
his ear.
No.
Hermit Chronicles.
yeah.
That happened in the Hermit Chronicles, or was it like part of
Yeah.
the Patreon thing? Like, was it edited
No,
out
he
or
broke
something?
it in
I
Hermit
don't remember
Chronicles. I think
that.
it was
You
like
broke it,
episode
it's permanently
3.
in there. It's
Oh
amazing.
my
something like that.
gosh.
So good.
That's funny.
But also,
There you go, Jesse. There's
know what?
that
No.
one moment where I defend you, and now I can
Yep.
berate you about
But
everything else.
actually, he broke it. But originally he had a limited set of them, and he handed them out to the people, and he only had a few extra. And it's been a long time since then, so he's been handing them out still. But because he broke it the first time, it didn't get permanently lodged in his ear. He broke it, so he put in a new one, and he's so protective
Okay.
of it because it's his last one, and he realized he
Mhm.
broke it before. He was like, "This is it. If I lose this, then I lose the entire organization." You know,
Ugh.
Fair.
and it was impossible. There was no way you could have gotten that earpiece.
Even with a nat 20.
Even with a nat 20, you would have to kill him for it. That was his life's work.
Oh my
All
gosh.
it's like somebody with their phone, you know? Like how people are like, if you take my phone away, you're taking away my life. That's how he felt about the earpiece. Time to talk about our lovely sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. Time for a serious moment. I've lost many people to mental health issues, some family members and some friends, and had some close calls otherwise. No one should suffer alone. With BetterHelp, you can find a therapist that suits you. You can change your therapist if after some time it's just not working for either of you. BetterHelp aims to find an effective way to provide therapy in a number of different ways, such as video, text, and chat. If you are a bit uneasy about talking on the phone or doing a video chat or face to face, even a simple text is just as good. You can find the help that you need during those moments of mental struggles. If you want to give BetterHelp a try, click the link in the description or visit betterhelp.com/RATP. Clicking the link helps support this podcast, and it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp, so you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. Don't suffer alone. Reach out to BetterHelp today.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And I
Yeah.
think he needs some therapy. I'm kidding.
Oh, he did need therapy. Yeah, you're right. He has a lot of trauma in his life.
Yeah, he does.
His dad, he literally, like, if you didn't, and I don't know, listeners, if you want to listen to Hermit Chronicles or if you have or haven't, but like, we kind of touched on his backstory of like, he was made in a deal between God and Darren to basically get rid of the wizards and King Elros and that lineage and all of the Fae Nine that would have anything to do. So he was the catalyst of why they left. But in that, Caesar was made invisible so no one could take care of him, so no one would find out that Darren had an illegitimate child. So the only way people would touch him, or the only way he would be seen if people touched him, and the only way they would touch him is if they would hit him because they didn't know he was there. So he was abused a lot as a kid. Like,
Wow.
yeah.
That's sad. But yeah, anyway, speaking of Caesar, I also wish I talked so much trash about him when he wasn't there that I didn't follow through with. And I regret not following through with that. I said I was
Yeah.
gonna punch him in the face when I saw him again for not giving me that gem, and I didn't. And I was like, Caesar, I missed you. And I was like, why didn't I just punch that guy in the face? Okay, we had waited a long time between recordings, so I must have forgotten that Hava really wanted to do that.
Oh, maybe.
And I
Maybe.
think that
Yeah.
was why, but
Yeah.
I still regret not having done that. Or
No,
like
I think,
berated
yeah.
him a little bit more for like using Hava to accomplish his tasks that
Mhm.
ended up in some very sad situations for Hava, because like I at some point was like trying to rationalize why Hava made some bad decisions, and I attribute a lot of that to Caesar's instructions or
Sure.
requests or things like that. Like
Sure.
Hava was just trying to follow, this powerful lion guy who seemed like he knew exactly what he wanted and he knew what needed to be done. And she was like, okay, this seems like a good guy to follow. Like he seems like he has
Mhm.
good intentions and everything, but because of that, like the biggest
sure.
thing, I think the biggest regret for Hava, for me at playing Hava, was the whole Winterhold battle. And speaking
Yeah.
of, I could have rescued them without like, but because I had in my mind this dagger that he really wanted
Yeah, the staff.
in the castle. Had I just rushed out, we wouldn't have had that final confrontation in the
Sure.
palace or castle or whatever. And I would have gotten a plenty of the
Or
villagers
it
out.
might have happened, but not with you and the villagers that you've
Right.
rescued.
Yeah, so I would have actually rescued some villagers if I wasn't so focused on getting into the palace and rescue or saving the dagger and confronting
Yeah.
the king. I mean, it ended up being good storytelling, but it was also like one of the biggest regrets because I just and I was so into the battle that I forgot that those villagers were not just Winterhold villagers. There were
Yeah.
otter folk. All of our otter folk
Yeah.
were in that. The ones that had
Yeah.
survived were in that camp, and I think I just attributed them all to being Winterhold folk and forgot that was otter folk too, and like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
got so into the battle and stuff. That was like probably the very biggest regret is like is just sacrificing and just being so
Yeah.
like flippant about
It was interesting because as a GM, from a GM's perspective, running hundreds of different NPCs, not possible. I don't care who you
right.
are,
No,
it is
I
not
know.
possible. So I made up the plan of, oh, they're gonna help you. They're gonna distract here, they're gonna distract here, and they're gonna distract here. What do you want to do with them? And you were like, I want to take them with me. And I was like, okay, I, I, okay. I don't know how to say no to this. I don't know. We'll see what happens. And then I was just like, you know what? Okay, fine. They're gonna do mass damage and all these different things, but at the same time, they're gonna get mass hits. And
Yeah, right.
yeah, it was
No,
a
and it's not. I
uh,
wasn't. Yeah, no, right. I mean, it was a crazy situation that you never had to deal with, and I never had to deal with, and we were just doing our best to try and figure out how to do this in
exactly.
a way that can translate into D&D stats.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, 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 yeah. It was
uh, yeah,
a fun and like you said, it was storytelling wise because you were reunited with your first Fae Nine, your beloved Blaine Joy.
yeah.
who you had a passionate hate for.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is funny to me and maybe to Lee because we know Blaine
Blaine.
Joy from the Philippines.
Yep.
Uh,
Oh,
it's so
right.
just yeah, just the fact that she's a real person and how much you
That's
did
right.
not like her was so funny to
Okay,
me.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, Blaine Joy, if you're listening to this.
it
It wasn't personal. It was just the character that Jesse created.
was just professional. It wasn't personal.
It was very, very
Every
Fictional
time I heard of Blaine Joy, I
characters.
was thinking that where I'm like, the
Oh yeah,
character,
Luke as well.
the
Yeah.
character
Yeah.
is
You
not
knew
good.
her?
No, I've not. No, I have never met her.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But every time I heard her name, I was like, well, this is a real person.
This is
of all-
a real
First of
person.
all, I need to get her name right. It's not Blaze Joy. Sometimes I thought that. It was just
Oh,
Blaine
really?
Joy. Blaine Joy. And also, I feel like I can't be mean to this person because she paid money on Patreon, right?
No. That was
Oh.
a competition I ran on Instagram.
Oh.
Yeah. That was a competition I ran on Instagram and
Okay.
Nice.
she submitted and that was fine.
The character Blaine Joy was like not Reader's favorite person, but like Blaine Joy was a real person. So I feel like I couldn't be
Yeah.
that mean to her.
That's very funny.
I guess the disconnection for me. I was like, I'll just hate her.
Hate her with
Okay.
a fiery passion.
Oh yeah. Okay, so here's some more regrets. I wish some of my speeches were a little more coherent. That's just like a Davida regret, not like a Have regret. Okay. And then let's see. I wish that we could have had more things to do within that couple months span of
Oh, yeah.
episode 20 or 19 and 20, where we're just in prison. I already told Jesse all this too, and so he knows, but like it was my least favorite like episode. Even like just listening, I'm just like, man, I could have done this and I could have done, I know I would have done so many other things and
Yeah.
I would have had more character development there. So
Yeah.
and yeah, so
Yeah, I think that also comes down to, like you said,
Right.
we were new to this
we're
whole
just
thing.
new. We're figuring
And
stuff
so,
out.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
I should have given more notice. These guys should have been better at thinking, okay, what do I really want to get down? I mean, Luke was pretty good with trying to get to know the locals, but
Yeah.
they didn't really want to get to know you. They
They
wanted to
really
actually
wanted to
kill
get to
you
know
the
him.
entire
Yeah.
time.
And then I think my final big regret is just not like is being so like accepting of my dad after he killed that wizard in front of me of
That
Hava's
was
dad. Like,
insane to me.
why did I
Yeah, dude.
do that?
Yep.
And I'm going to attribute it again to long spans of not playing Hava and then all of a sudden thinking I know what her character is, but even though I just didn't get back into her mindset, right? In like, I don't think she would have accepted him because I was already starting to go along this path of less violence. And then all of a sudden I'm like, the violence was the thing that made me want to. I don't know what happened there. And that was a big regret because I think it would have been very different had I stuck to my like, yeah. And I think it was just, yeah, I was in a weird funk those like couple of episodes where it was just like,
Mm.
I don't know where Hava is. She's in prison. She doesn't want to be here. I'm trying to like figure out where she would be in her brain. And I just was having so much struggle because it's for me and as a person, I process things much better when I'm speaking them.
Oh,
I
sure.
am not very good at internalizing
processor,
things. I'm
yeah.
a verbal processor. So I think
Yeah.
since I wasn't verbally processing Hava's thoughts and feelings from that like time in prison and stuff, like when it finally, when I was finally able to do that, I was just like not myself or not Hava wasn't herself. And I think
Yeah.
it was crazy because I was just like, no, thinking back on it, I don't think Hava would have accepted.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I think Lee and I, albeit video chatting, looked at each other like, oh no, what happened here?
I literally was like, her dad be crazy. I'm gonna step in if he tries to lay a finger on her. And then like, obviously I completely agree with what, the whole, we had months between episodes. Cause that's like one thing like one of the questions comes up later again. I don't want to like overextend it, but it's like you kind of get in the mindset of playing a character, and we played it for such a long period, like constantly, to then have breaks and then to come back to go like,
Yeah.
no joke, listeners, to go, so what happened? Like, what craziness is going down? And then like, yeah, and then our characters are kind of like, oh, they're doing this, and then they do that. Why is that so all over the place? And then you're like,
Yeah.
oh, if you have the cohesion of we're doing it like months after this, the recording and stuff, it like makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. I mean, in the end, I think it worked for you.
Yeah,
I guess, yeah. I mean,
I guess.
it would have been very different had I not, but I think maybe pretending a little bit more would have been more of
Oh,
Hava's
sure.
strategy
Yeah.
rather than,
Yeah.
I would have
Full
to do some
submission.
deception checks or
Mm,
something like that probably,
yeah.
but I don't know, I think she was just like so emotional and just like not herself. And so I
Sure.
think it was just I'm going to chalk it up to like, yeah, very weird like time period for like Hava just like being like just out, yeah, out not herself because of stuff. And then of course the final regret is just throwing that black hole at Shinji
Oh, sugar. Was
at
that your
Goro.
worst regret?
At
Oh,
Goro.
mate.
That was one of
Away.
them.
Oh, my highlights.
It was not my biggest regret, but definitely one of them.
Because it was just a genuine
Sure.
reaction of like, what the are you doing? Like, it was so
okay,
good.
but it
So
was one of
good.
the things that I did that made me feel the worst because I was like, that was what
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, it was such a
like
raw moment as well. Like the recording does not so much justice as probably like the Patreon, just
Yeah.
Right.
raw edit of it. Like,
yeah, the
holy
raw
crap.
edit, if you guys go
Yeah.
back, if you're on Patreon and you hear the raw edit, it is a
Jeez.
lot more like I was just like, no, I'm sorry. Wait, can I think I bargained a lot because I was
Yeah,
just like
you tried.
and I think
Metagame.
I
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Can I
out
take it
of
back?
yeah, that got edited
Yeah.
out, a lot of it.
Love it.
You can't take back what you've done.
That was probably like
It
another
happens.
30 minutes of me just trying to take back what I did.
Yeah.
One of the things that like sometimes I'm like, if I had like a ringtone, it would be Jesse, like
Jesse!
Hey!
Jesse.
Why? Love it. So good.
Yeah, it's funny times. Hey, but I mean hard times, but funny times in the end. Good stories to look back
Good
on.
stories. Yes.
Do we want to get into some specific questions really quick and then
Yeah.
move on to the next thing?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the few questions and then like leave it for like our normal listeners and then leave it a bit spicy for some of the patrons. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Oh, I know one of them was the marbles. We wanted to know
Yes.
what was the leftover marbles.
Please tell us what the leftover marbles were. And I also want the numbers because I'm going to write them down. Okay,
Well,
but
so
I know
the
the
numbers
two.
is what's confusing to me
Oh,
because
really?
I think at some point
Yeah.
I gave you the wrong number or we talked about a wrong
Oh,
or I don't know what
no.
happened because you are I think because I'll tell you the ones I have and then you can tell
Okay.
me the ones that you're like, wait a second, no,
Wait a
that's already
minute.
been used.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you the numbers and then you
Yeah.
tell me, oh no,
Right.
or yes, that's fine. Where did they go? There you go. So I have number 23.
Oh, you're starting from the top. Okay.
No, I
mean,
just that's how I put it in my list. So
Oh,
number
okay.
23,
Number
Yeah.
23.
and then number 2, number 3.
Wait. These are the ones that didn't get used, right?
Yeah, these are the ones that didn't get used.
Right. 23, 2,
3,
3.
5,
Yep.
8,
Right. I
9.
don't think we used 7. I don't think we used 7.
Okay, so maybe that could have been
Or V used 2 marbles, so I don't know which ones he used.
Oh, that's true. He did. I don't know if I numbered.
The
I
lore
think
behind
I
the
might have
marbles,
deleted
guys.
them.
See, it still puzzles us to this day. I tell you.
So 9, 10, and 12.
I had that we used 9.
Okay, so maybe I missed the 7, and that's what's gotten
Maybe.
all this mixed up.
Maybe 9 was the portal in my
Black hole.
notes.
Black
Yeah.
hole.
Black
Okay,
hole was the 9.
because on
and then
mine it has flood on mine.
Blood for 9. Oh.
So I must have
Okay.
either I put 9 twice or I don't know what happened.
Huh.
And then 15, 16, 17, 18.
I had that we used 17. It was the disguise person or the disguise one that
Okay, see, I have
reader used.
hysterical laughter. So I don't know
Yeah.
where the mix-up happened, but something
Right.
tricked me into
I don't think we used 21 or 22.
ah. So I'll tell you what they do. So
Yeah.
23, number 23 is just as penguins. I don't know
Penguin.
Awesome.
what I was gonna do with that. I don't know what
Penguin.
was gonna happen with the penguins,
Penguin army,
but
mate. Be like the
penguins.
penguin from Batman. That'd have been
Okay.
sick.
Yeah.
Number 2 says snowball.
Snowball. Just like
So
throw a snowball.
either a small snowball or a massive one. I don't know.
A meteorite snowball.
Number 3 is massive boulder. So just a different variation of snowball.
One
Okay.
melts.
Number 5 was wild magic surge.
Whoa. What
So
would
we'd
what
roll
would
on
have
the
that done?
we would have had to roll on the table and
Oh.
see what it does.
Oh,
Oh
okay.
wow.
That would have been interesting.
Yeah. Number 8 is a lion's roar. So you'd basically have Darren's like equivalent of Darren's roar
Now,
that he used to
wasn't
rip
8?
off.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Wasn't
Yeah.
wasn't 8 though the one that had many animals on it?
Stampede. Yeah, I don't have Stampede any, so I must have deleted them and then just replaced the number or
Oh,
something.
because on my thing, mine said many animals.
Yeah.
So Stampede.
I
Wait,
honestly
did we
don't
use
know
that one?
why.
Or
I
we
don't
figured
think
it
he
out
did.
later?
Reader has it.
No.
Reader
Yeah,
had
Reader
it?
still has
I
it,
don't think he
but I don't
used
have
it.
it
I
on my
think he
list
has it.
anymore.
Right.
He has a very powerful marble still he hasn't used.
So you
I
might
don't-
actually want to note that down that
I
he
don't
has
say
many
that off the top of
animals.
my head,
Yeah. So I'll put
lost it.
I'll say that's number
Lost it in the
7,
move.
and then
7
I'll
is
put
many animals.
and then I'll put number
Mhm.
8 as the Stampede still exist. I think once I heard it, I was just like delete.
Oh yeah.
Not even used, it just heard it. And then number 9 obviously is the black hole, but on mine it says flood, so we can maybe make that 21.
21 is the flood.
Yeah.
I love how we're altering the lore as well as we
Right,
do
I love
this.
Yeah.
Well,
Like,
they're
Is
just
this going to
marbles.
serve any purpose
They're just
later?
marbles.
Not
I
really.
don't know. Probably
No.
not.
I love this.
Except for maybe the one that Reader has.
Yeah,
If
maybe
we
the
ever
one that
go
Reader
back
has.
to that story.
Number 10 is marbles, so it just creates more of them.
More what? Blank ones or
More of the more blank
Holy
marbles.
crap.
blank
Yeah.
marbles? Why didn't we use that on the pyramid to get
I
rid of the
forgot
pyramid?
about it. I'll tell you what, he
I
forgot.
literally asked about that.
I know. No, that's he rolled. He rolled and he got like a 4.
Oh, so because I was like, do one of these give you more? Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Because I'll tell you what else it has. Right after that, number 12, summon
Yeah.
animal. I don't know if that means summon them from a different existence, summon them from a different plane, summon them from.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
you even said, is there a way to save Goro with these marbles? And he said, no,
No.
other than the black hole.
Oh my gosh.
So good. It's one of my favorite moments. It's fine.
Yeah. Number 15.
Oh, actually,
just
you know
says
what? I think I wrote down the
flowers.
ones. 15 was flowers.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know what that means. What
Those
Did you
killer
not make
flowers
these?
from Little Shop of Heroes.
I did make them, but I made them 3 years ago, 4 years
Yep.
ago.
Yeah. I actually wrote down which ones Silas used. I think you edited it out of the thing, but time stops was
Probably.
14. That was the one where he froze time.
Oh, sure.
And the circus tent was 11.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number
Got it.
16
16.
is smoke. So
Okay.
I'm assuming
Smoke bomb.
that's obvious. Yeah, smoke bomb. And then 17 hysterical laughter. And then 18 is
So which
3
one was the
trapped
disguise one then?
goats. Ghosts.
Because you trapped ghosts.
Yeah, 3
That
trapped
seems-
ghosts.
That seems horrifying.
Which one did Luke use then? The disguise one, because that was the
The
other
disguise
that
one,
he-
I didn't write it down. I have no idea what
Okay.
number it is.
because it was 17 in my list.
Okay, yeah.
It had a
So
hat
I
on
think
it.
that Yeah. I must have deleted them and then just filled it in. That
Yeah,
has to be the only solution I can think of.
right. But hysterical laughter would have been funny. That would have been great.
Yeah. Yeah,
I wish I
so
used
yeah,
that.
that's it. That's
That's
the
it.
three trap ghosts. I'm probably thinking of like Casper and
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say like
uncles.
Casper. That seems pretty
Uh,
funny.
wait, what did you say 22 was?
Well, that I didn't have that, so I would say that would probably be hysterical laughter, probably,
Okay, that would be the
or
hysterical.
somewhere in there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This is for Divita's like,
This is just for me.
frame of mind. Yeah.
This is
So it's
just,
a learning
but yeah,
experience for you as well, listeners. So enjoy that.
Yeah, and
yeah,
I won't even be able to read this later, but that's okay. It's just for me. I'm like
but
writing
yeah.
over.
It's
I can't see this.
Love it.
that's it. That's the
Thank you.
it the list. Yeah. I think if you were to given him the bag, he could tell you exactly what each one did once he saw it, which is what he
Yeah.
did when he grabbed it from you. But
Well, and I feel like given 3 months or whatever it was that we were in prison for, I would
yeah,
have
yeah, that as
done
well.
insights on every single marble, like every
Yep.
day,
Yeah,
just being like, wonder what this one does.
yeah,
Insight roll, insight roll, until
true.
I knew
Although
everything.
you were being watched, so it could be that you were like, "Oh well, I'm being watched. I can't do too many things out of the ordinary."
Yeah, I
That could
don't
be
think
it.
somebody playing with marbles would have risen suspicion.
Well,
Maybe,
yeah,
but
I don't know.
Hence who you
I
play
again,
around them.
yeah,
If you did it around Goro, Goro would leave immediately.
so
yeah.
what if I used one of
Any
those to
other
get out of prison?
specific questions? Oh, you could have used quite a lot of them, probably.
Yeah, oh, probably, yeah.
Even penguins for
Even
some reason.
penguins.
I love the fact there's one just for penguins. Doesn't make any sense, but it's there.
Yeah. Any other quick question that we can?
I don't know. Are we saving some of the ones that you put in the chat for the Patreons, guys? Or
Yeah, I
okay,
think there was another one that I'd like to address, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe something I put.
Is this something you put or something I put? Oh, probably something you
I'm
put, because I
gonna.
feel like there was that, like, what character would you like to have played? Character class would you have
oh yeah,
would you have liked to play? That was a cool.
I have an immediate answer to that, but just I because I sent you three. Xylus being like somebody else's familiar and having like a Fred and George thing was one of them. And I don't know if this is probably for Patreon because it's gonna be cut out if need be. Is there a season two that will be playing as animals?
No, so okay. I mean, there's technic. So listeners, that yes, I can talk about that now. We are thinking of a season two. We might play a season two. Who knows? It's up to these guys if they want to carry on with this world expansion or not. I mean, I know we're doing other things right now, and I don't want to say anything about like, oh yeah, we're gonna start that up soon or not. I don't know, but I am planning it. I do. I started planning it since this started ending. I started planning it since probably the beginning of this campaign. Uh, because if you listened to the whole episode and you got the ending where Ariana's character Chaser says she's found out where she's from. This is actually an experiment. Uh, so that's where this next campaign will take place in that world. And so that world is a modern society, a society with technology and magic, with normal jobs and uh backhanded politics and all of that
Like
jazz.
Zootopia? Like, are they still animals
Yeah,
though?
kind of. There are humanoid animals, but there are also elves and
Oh, I see.
dwarves and
Yeah. So
magical creatures.
more of the classic D&D characters that you might
Yes and
see
no, but in a modern setting.
in a
I
modern
mean, you
setting.
we
Well,
can
yeah,
even throw in like
like the orcs and the I don't know.
owlets,
Yeah.
orcs. We can throw in like high elves or not high elves, space elves. Like this is a vast world of this, and if you listeners, if you didn't understand what the last message basically was saying, was basically these guys, their characters were being Truman showed, and they are a part of a program that is playing out on its own. There's no direction from any director or anything, but they are,
That's
lack of a better term, puppets for entertainment of this other world.
which I hate. That's a horror. I mean, I love that idea, but I hate that idea, you know? Like,
But
what?
yeah,
Can't please
It-
everyone on
it-
this main four, can we? Honestly, gosh.
but that's what it was. It is, and that's why it's so long. That is why time is a bit odd. Like, why is there a casino
Whoa.
in a
Yeah.
pastime? Why is
That
there
makes sense now.
certain, there's different
Because I
things in
think
there
one
that
of my very specific questions was why was okay, wasn't there a coin heist in the Hermit Chronicles where they meet Elros and OP like steals this coin that
yes,
technically Silas and John are trapped in or something, but like
yes,
when Reader steals the coin, isn't there a baby Hava in the carriage?
no, there's no baby Hava.
Okay, my brain made that up, I
Alva
guess.
was never a baby.
There was
No,
Never,
because I
never,
was
never
thinking
was a baby.
no, because I was thinking timeline wise, I thought he said that there was a baby in there. Uh,
no baby.
but that's why I was like, no, because that was like more than 5 years ago.
But
And
even
Hava's only
then,
5.
like I
Yeah.
was trying to talk to Ariana about this because Chaser is older than
Then Hava.
Hava,
Yeah.
but dogs, and you don't have to agree with this or not. It is what it is, and it makes more sense now that it's a TV program.
Yeah.
But the way I justified it to her was basically that they are kind of like the elves of that world, where they actually age differently
Yeah.
than everyone else, to where 5 years to them is actually like the opposite. It's 35
Oh,
years to
right.
everyone else. So
Yeah.
so what you were doing is normalizing, yeah, you are 5 technically, but in
technically,
reality, you're probably
reality.
like 1 or 2 because
Yeah.
in that kind of concept. But it
Right.
now that it's a TV program, in that finally understanding that it is because of that, the time differences and whatnot, and all of that stuff is, yeah, it's a TV show. So
Weird.
the outer world is where the next campaign takes place, where there are sentient animals and stuff like that. But I have a few surprises for these guys, so I'm not going to spoil everything. But that's what it kind of that's the world that they would be a part of, and it would be happening simultaneously as the show is running. So if things go the way that they may go, there might be a season 3 where we might see the original Animal Kingdom characters, but for now, probably not in season 2. Maybe on the
Oh,
TV.
because if Hava figured out she was a TV character, she would be all about figuring out how to mess
But I
up
also
that.
know
Mess
that
up.
Hava would not want to leave her father alone as the king of the kingdom.
Yeah, murder everybody again.
Well,
I mean, sorry, whoa, too
he's
soon?
dead. He dies, okay?
Yeah.
Something
Yeah.
happens. I don't know. I'm not saying Hava's gonna kill him, but something will happen to him.
But yeah, so
Fair.
that's season 2 spoilers. Spoiler, I guess, not spoiler, just an intro to season 2. If we do it, we may not. It depends on what happens with these guys, if they want to do it or not. I'm not fussed about it. And we have great campaigns going on right now. So yeah. Did that answer
So
your
we
question?
were talking about our character, what character we might like
Yes.
to play or something, and I think that was when
And
Luke was like,
race.
"Wait, do you
I
want
said
to?"
I have 2 other characters.
Right.
I was going, or I guess I took a picture of my phone and sent it to Jesse, and he just liked the double familiar one. It was from a long time ago.
Oh,
If you're trying to find it,
yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah.
It's okay.
But one of the ones was Steve Jaws, who is a snake artificer, who is like the equivalent of Steve Jobs. But because he's a snake, he's got these. He's probably also like a monk. He's really good at punching, but just because they're like mechanical.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
I was
Anyone
initially
else?
going to play him too, but
Ooh.
and I have another one that was less interesting, but I'll let somebody else talk.
I don't know. I think I had a really cool brew going with Jess at one point of a paranoid schizophrenic weasel warlock alchemist like scientist who basically thinks he's talking to people Like he would probably be talking to Hava, but then Hava would ask a question and he would continue talking. And then there would probably be some confusion. And then he'd be like, 1 second. And he's actually talking to no one. There's like very Jack Sparrow-esque. He just keeps seeing people and he's
Yes.
actually slowly losing his mind. And all
Wow.
like the whole like alchemy that he's been doing is really powerful, but it's like took a toll on him and he's kind of slowly going insane. Like, but he's a
Yes.
interesting, weird guy to go around. So
That's interesting. I was kind of curious what your second character was. We all kind of came up with backup characters just in case
yeah,
Jesse killed us off, because
Yes.
he said,
Yeah.
if we kill you off, then you're gonna have to come up with a new character if you want to keep recording with us. So we're
yeah,
like, okay.
yeah. The
And so
idea he was,
we all kind of came
I
up with, and
honestly thought
yeah,
I
it would
remember
happen more often.
I remember
yeah,
Lee mentioning very early on in our recordings that he said something like, I know you just want to kill off Goro so you can see my second character.
because the homebrew is the guy is insane. Like he literally would talk to people, and then you could probably tell him something, and he would just like snap out of like being like
Yeah.
dazed and be like, "Sure," and he wouldn't have heard a word or whatever. Like, yeah, the guy I wanted to play him like a complete nutbag, like literally, just like he's there and he just like makes something. He doesn't even know if it's going to work or not, or it could like actually hurt him in the process. Like it's
Yeah.
just mad. Like honestly.
I think
Insane.
Hava was mad enough in this season to we need another mad
Oh,
crazy.
I've just been insane. I probably would have been useless, to be honest. I'd be like, I don't know what works. These acids and alkalines and all these other things. I don't know. That looks pretty cool. Let's see what happens.
No,
Like,
I really did like Goro, and I think that it was a helpful type of character, the stoic, almost like, I mean, and very, took a lot of initiative in the beginning,
True.
where I needed someone to take initiative, and then kind
Mm.
of stood back a little bit towards the end, where I was like, okay, I'm feeling more confident in making plans and stuff without like having to rely on an experienced D&D'er to, yeah, I don't know, but anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, so like I said, we all made our character, like, but see, here's the thing. I didn't make a second character.
Did
I
you
thought
not?
about one. He said, make a second character, and I thought about one. And that was all I did, was think about one. I didn't do a character sheet. I didn't come up with a name. I was
Wow.
way too attached to Hava to even think about another character.
I- and I think that's a
But I
bit
could tell
of
you what I
like,
thought about. But sorry, Luke, go ahead. Luke,
and
what you were
I think
saying?
that's a bit of like why I I don't think season two will feel like the same as season one, just because it's the story of Hava,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Mm.
And to not have Hava in it would feel very
I mean, the season two.
Yeah.
This the thing is with D&D, it's not about one character. It may seem that it was from your
Mhm.
perspective because your character's like arc was like you knew Hava, you knew that you were with Hava. Like Hava was your central not crutch, but like focal point. Even in Animal Kingdom, where Caesar says, do you remember her? Like she's the princess. Like immediately that holds weight. But every single one of these characters were just as important. Like
No, yeah.
there's no I in team in D&D. Like everyone had their time to die or time to shine, It
Yeah.
it wasn't like with Goro with his dad, like
Yeah.
to stand up to him. And I mean, even you with V, with Silas with V
Silas and V. Yeah.
was a huge dynamic of like a brotherhood and like holding grudges and
Yeah.
all that stuff being like released with just a hi Silas, and then you're like, oh, you want to do it now, hi, like all the
Yeah.
tension that was built up just before that to just end with just that and everything's kind of okay was like that was I thought that was great. And then with Reader and Chaser, like that was beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Like everyone had, I mean, even Leaf or Sam, like he said it was his favorite character of all time. Like, and
Yeah.
yet I honestly had no understanding of where to put or bring his character, but his heart was in it, and you saw his passion for who Leaf was, and how
Yeah.
to help the group and bring that dynamic of like,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm a lovable guy, but I will slice your throat in a moment. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I agree that Hava was important, but I think a season two with understanding that, yeah, it was a TV show. You know, Animal Kingdom's a TV show, and now you're on a different path, and maybe they connect, maybe they don't. But you'll have to wait and see and find and play through it and see if
Ooh, I would
they
love to
does.
connect it. That would be
Mm.
anyway. So, but my thought was playing a very different aged character. So I was playing this young, kind of naive. Like I thought it might be funny to play this old, like crusty old Komodo dragon that was a bard, and just had all these stories and was gonna tell. Oh, no, I played one, didn't I, in some sort of crossover thing or like spinoff. Oh, that's right. We played with Hebridean Tales. That's why. Okay. We collaborated with a podcast called Hebridean Tales, and they had us on their show for a as guest stars, a couple of us, and they said make a character. I looked at the options, saw that one of them was a lizard folk type of like option. I was like, well, that should go well with the character that I was thinking about playing in Animal Kingdom, but just decided not to. I decided to go for Hava instead. And so I was like, here's a good opportunity for me to play this old like Komodo dragon character. And so I just recycled that for that character for that little one shot podcast. It was a couple episodes, I think, that we did with Hebridean Tales. So if you want to hear me as a old crotchety Komodo dragon, you could go and
It's a
find their
good episode.
podcast. And
It's a good episode.
Jesse, if you want, you can link it in the description. I don't
Yeah, I
know if
can do.
the episode has come out.
I'll
I
do that.
haven't
Yeah,
listened to it, but I
it
am.
has.
I think it has come out. Yeah, so you
Yeah,
can link that episode if you'd like to check it out.
yeah, yeah. Cool.
Me
Sounds
and
good.
Luke and Jesse were in that.
No, Luke didn't.
No,
No,
not Luke.
Luke tried,
He
but he
tried,
couldn't
but
make
he
it.
had
Yeah,
issues with the thing. So it was me and
yeah,
Jesse that were in that.
yeah.
So
But we are in a new collaboration with, and that actually comes out this week, with the ARPG guys. Uh, so that Marvel one comes out this next Friday. No, not this coming Friday, the one after. Just before we end it, any last thoughts for our main feed
I
people?
hope you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Like it was cool.
yeah,
Like it's been like you forget like how much goes into like it's easy to record it and stuff, but to edit it and put all the final touches on it, it's a long way. So shout outs to you, Jess, to getting it done. It sounded really good and good job because it's fun. It's fun to do them. It is really fun to put it all together and oh yeah, it's just really cool. And yeah, it's been a pleasure and fun to do it. And I hope we come back for season 2. I'm so excited for doing it.
that would be
So
awesome.
Be interesting. It's gonna be amazing.
I love the
Yeah.
worlds you create, Jesse. You do a great
yeah,
job, and
So
it
many
is very fun to play.
worlds.
so many
Yes.
worlds.
I love the worlds you create. Most of them.
Most of them.
Took you a while to warm up to Wander Win, but you did.
Yeah, definitely. Eventually, that was good.
Yes.
After he could like finally embrace his villain character, then it was good. Okay.
Blech. Blech.
I know.
I had to
We were all
wash
kinda,
myself
like,
after.
we
To
were all
wash
a little bit
myself
blech
after.
about that character.
It was a harsh character.
That's a harsh character. Sorry.
I can't wait to release those episodes. Anything last to say, Luke?
Raw fan art.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Cool. I said this before, but I just wanted to say thank you guys for playing it. We had our highs and lows. We had a little bit bickering sometimes here and there, but we got through it and I enjoyed most of it. Editing is no joke. A headache and a half. But yeah, thank you, listeners, for being a part of it, and hopefully you'll join us on our Patreon feed to hear more specific things about specific questions that we have for each other. Until then, next week or the next release will hopefully be or had been the collaboration with AARPG podcast, and after that will hopefully be our new campaign, which you'll probably hear intro. What is happening there?
Sorry, it's just Luke just got even blurrier. Sorry, that's bad. It doesn't work in an
it
audio
got
medium,
so
but it's just
bad.
really funny.
Ugh. Yeah, we will be starting our Star Wars campaign then. This is going chaos right now.
It is going chaos. Sorry.
We're not gonna have like an outro right now. Just join us on our Patreon. Thank you all, and we love you.
Yes.
Till next time. Bye. Oh, Luke is
While
Luke is
wait,
back.
wait,
Holy
wait.
cow. It's like,
he had to turn off his camera for a second to clean it. I guess.
honestly, it was like drunk vision. It was like we
It
were
was
all
bad.
blurred. And it was like, what's going on?
Mhm.
You put my
So-
glasses back on.
He was frantically
There may
trying to
be a
clean the
trailer
camera
after
so he
this
could
or
wave
not,
at the
but-
end.
Yeah.
True.